Hey, feel I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit
Load
the
something
function,
totally
hit the
different.
rose
Literally,
till I hiccup.
we finished
I hit the stage
a
and leave with
minute
money
before
that's
you
a
signed
sticker.
into the waiting room.
She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a
Okay.
flicker.
So I had no time to get on before. I had no time to set everything up. I was just like, okay, there he is. And let me just get in there and just start. So welcome. Welcome.
It'll be fine.
So Steve,
Yes, sir.
is Staton or Staton? So I always wanted to ask you that.
It is Staton.
Because a statin is something you take for blood thinning or something like that, right?
Yeah. Yes, Staton.
Very good. Well, welcome, Steve. Steve, if you guys don't know, he is our Vice President of Operations. So thank you very much for jumping in the role. We just had a meeting last night, and so Steve's got a lot of stuff he's working on. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Steve? Before you've been a instructor for Phoenix, right?
Yes, I still am. I start a new class on Tuesday.
What do you
It'll be
teach?
my 137th class.
Wow.
I've been teaching for 14 years. So this will be my 15th year coming up. And I have 2 degrees from U of P. I have my bachelor's and in technical information, and then I have my master's, my MBA from University of Phoenix as well, in technology management.
So is that technology? So we're talking computers, right?
Oh yes, yes.
Okay. I know enough about computers just to get myself in trouble. So how difficult is it? Is it easier? Is it better online in a virtual environment to teach that kind of information stuff, or no? Is it?
Well, I think that after doing it for so long, it's second nature to me. I'm pretty good with it. The only thing that surprises me is from time to time, the class will change. The format will change, and some of the subject material will change. So if I've got any pre-written help information to share with students, I have to kind of reword that. So there's a lot more work that has to go into it whenever there's a change. But for the most part, most of the time, the classes are pretty consistent. I've never met a student. I don't even know what they look like. And that's a good thing. The diversity and inclusion is there because to me, they are a student and everybody gets treated equally regardless of where they come from or what their background is. And so it makes it fun for me. I enjoy that. I mean, I would like to make face-to-face contact, but we just don't.
So that's a good question. So you just do undergrad, right?
Yes, mostly undergrad, yes.
Okay, because I was wondering, I think in my master's program, I think we're actually going to do some face-to-face stuff. I have a feeling we're going to, like I'm doing counseling, so I got a feeling, I think they probably adjusted based on program. Because like I haven't been back to Phoenix for like 20 years, and already so much has changed. It's like,
oh yeah, night and day.
Night and day from where it used to be.
Yes.
So that is one thing. The portal's a lot different. Like I tell people, and I think I told you guys last night at the meeting, I have to learn the whole mindset of save draft. Because it just doesn't just stay in the window when we're doing stuff. You got to save it. It disappears.
It's so true.
Kind of a drag. So
I have drafts saved to the side and I pull them out when I need to, and then I go back and double check my grammar and my vocabulary, and and then sometimes I go, why did I write that?
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
Yeah, I've got to go. I've got a textbook out in the mailbox that I got to go get. So I think about this whole mindset of what you're doing from teaching as an instructor at Phoenix, and now you're involved on the executive leadership for the Alumni Council. But you're a Michigan guy at heart, right?
No question about it.
So what's the difference? I mean, I'm a Buffalo. I tell people I'll see you. I'll be see you all day.
Yeah.
Tell me the difference between being a Michigan alum down to the bone and being a Phoenix alum.
Well, I'm not a Michigan alum. I grew up in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Okay.
I went to high school there, graduated from a city just outside of Ann Arbor. And just a quick story on how that all evolved.
Okay.
My dad used to work for a company that's similar to Schwann's, if you've ever heard of them, where they go out to people's houses and they deliver food.
Mhm.
And this particular company used to deliver all kinds of groceries in a little basket. And my dad would run into the customers' homes with the basket with goodies so they could try different things. And then he made us sit in the truck. He didn't want us to mess with the customers. And so while we sat in the truck, he'd leave the radio on. And on football Saturdays was usually when we had to do this. And so it would all start very early in the morning where they would play the Michigan fight song and just continue to lead up toward game time. So the whole time we'd be sitting there all day long listening to everybody getting excited for the game. And once the game came on, it was just an amazing thing for me. And I grew up with that, having never seen a game in person. But I was a huge fan. I was
Huge fan. Okay, so you're a huge booster.
Excuse me.
It's okay.
Yeah, cut that out, will you?
Well, if it's anything like Colorado, I mean, Buffaloes or the Rams, those are the two teams that everybody kind of goes crazy, like, Doug was here. So I remember I asked you some questions before, and you said you support the marketing arm of two prominent businesses.
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
Well, I'm moved into I used to be a systems administrator, so taking advantage of my degree in technology. And then I felt like I was missing something. So I morphed into project management and doing what we call Six Sigma Black Belt, which is solving strategic level problems for businesses. And through a series of layoffs working for both healthcare and the aerospace industry, I ended up somehow getting introduced to a new software tool that was in high demand, and they needed somebody with my background to help administer that system, as well as lend a hand in consulting on strategic level projects. So the overall fit of all that together provided me with an opportunity to become a consultant, so I didn't have to get laid off anymore.
Yeah.
And so I've been consulting since right after COVID. In 2020, and I support right now Fortune 500 number 1 and number 18, so that'll give you an idea who they are.
Wow.
I don't say the names because to protect the innocent, but
I get you.
in both of the companies, I'm supporting their marketing arm of the organization and helping all of these marketers create projects that lead to the ads that you see whenever you walk into a store or whenever you look online. Those ads are a big part of what they do, and so I support the teams that put out all of that together.
Okay, so is it kind of like a data thing in that mindset, or is it?
It's really a small version of running projects. For instance, I have a group right now that in 45 days they have to get something published for the holiday season. And so my job is to help them craft and create the project plan and help them craft how they're going to communicate with each other, how they're going to verify that the work gets done, and then they go off and running. So I do a lot of coaching and mentoring of these marketers who don't necessarily have a background in project management, but do understand marketing. And so I kind of help fill in the gaps of knowledge with the two things that are hand in hand to get to that finish line of the ad that you'll see when you look online or walk into a store.
Okay. So kids, married, wife, kids, all that good stuff?
Oh yeah, I've been married for 42 years, but
Wow.
I got married when I was 13, so but no, I've been married for 42 years. No, I'm aging well, I like to think. The Army helped me.
Yeah.
And I
look great for a young guy.
Yeah, and I have a boy and a girl. They're actually middle-aged now, so getting up there. But they're both with us right now. We're helping them achieve some financial success, and so kind of helping them along temporarily, and then they'll branch out into their own places to live very soon. But right now we're trying to fostering them a chance to save a little bit of money. So
where did you and your wife go on your first date?
On our first date, we went to Big Boys restaurant, which was famous for hamburgers, and that was her favorite restaurant. So we went there, and I hope people don't laugh too hard, but we went Dutch because I didn't have a lot of money. So,
So you
so
must be quite the ladies' man.
I told her we're going Dutch, and that way, if it's if one of us doesn't enjoy the date, then nobody's out anything.
Right.
And
Okay.
so had that come online seemed to work. We've been married since. So
So there's some tips for you guys right there. All right.
go Dutch on the
All the
first
other
date.
naughty stuff you do, just say, hey, babe, let's go out, and you're buying. You're for yourself.
You can do that. You
And I'll
can do
buy
that.
for myself. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, and I've read somewhere recently that that's a good technique. So I knew it 42 years ago and it worked. So
It's amazing. I tell people all the time, old school courting is always the best school courting. Now, I think people are jumping too many steps nowadays, but that's a whole different conversation. So
yeah, I wouldn't even know where to begin with online dating.
oh my God, trust me, after 2 divorces, I've been trying to kind of figure it out, and I'm collecting stand-up comedy material because it's funny.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah,
It is funny. So let's talk about, I'll ask you one last question, then I'm going to ask you just a very closing one. But what do you want to do? What's your burning desire?
My burning desire is as a hobby, and I have a few of them.
Okay.
I've been an author of 2 books, and I'm trying to finish up my 3rd one, and I'm really, really close. And so my short-term goal is to finish that book and publish it. And then my longer-term goals, I want to buy a boat one day. So far, my wife won't let me, but I want a boat, and I want to. When I go off into the sunset one day, I'd like to be able to spend all my hobby of adding to the boat or cleaning it or doing whatever's needed, because spending time 24 hours a day with someone you've been married to for 42 years is probably not going to work for us. So I need a hobby.
That kind of keeps it going, doesn't it?
Yes, and I need this role to give me something else to fill in a few gaps in my time. So yeah,
there you go. So anything that you want to share with our group, our wonderful chapter members, before I ask you the final 2?
Sure. I've given this some thought, and there's so many things that I could talk about because I'm very extroverted. You might find that.
I've noticed that about you. I was going to ask you to come out of yourself a little bit more.
Yeah, I know it's really hard for me. I don't need to recharge. I need to go to Las Vegas to recharge because the excitement is what I need to relax. So people that, an introvert who sits on the beach watching the waves come in, I'm not that. I got to be in the water.
Okay.
But anyway, my advice to fellow alumni is there's been a great effort recently to get into the business of career development for alumni. And I'm for one, am extremely excited about that because, we all there's a lot of changes in this world with AI and, jobs potentially being lost down the road, and, how we market ourselves, how we make ourselves relevant to employers is something that's not usually been a part of the degree plan after you finish school. Right. And so to see that UFP is investing in us for the life of our careers, I think is a wonderful thing. And I've been participating in some of the sessions to help shape the model of the career development. And so I'm going to throw a shout out there that if you have not yet logged back in to UFP, this would be a great idea. And please join us in an upcoming office hours where we're going to have a live session, and we're going to talk about whatever you'd like to ask us. And if you've got any career development questions or how to go about finding some resources, I'll have that available and ready for everybody.
Yeah, stay tuned for more of that information. Steve has a great idea to kind of help us out, because you've heard me say it a million times. This chapter is going to be what you want it to be. I don't want to start mandating, hey, come make this a job. Is something I've loved about University of Phoenix from 20 years ago till today is they're there for us. We pay a tuition. They are great at servicing what we need. And so Steve has this idea, why don't we just do office hours, see how we can help people? And if we don't have the answer, we can go get it. And so I've been very fortunate I was back in the mothership back in October. I've made some great connections from our illustrious president all the way down. So use me. I have no problem reaching out to folks. So
yes. And that office hours will be Wednesday, October 11th at 6 p.m. And it'll be announced in our through email and through our Facebook page. So please, if you can, come on in and ask away, and just feel free to be part of the group and make yourself known. Completely, there will be no formal agenda. Just come on in and we'll say hello.
Yep, there you go. It's like just wide open, but we'll just be looking out for it. You'll see a lot of promotion for it. We'll put it out there. So here's my last question for you. So I always try to do a question that just throws people off, just because that's the kind of guy I am. So here's the question I found. If you could send our president an emoji right now, what would it be? President of the university. If you could send Chris Lynn a emoji, what would you send him right now?
I would probably send him an emoji that somehow or another shows excitement and enthusiasm for what's coming. Our ability to support working adults has not changed, and we now have this exciting action coming up with Idaho. Some may be looking upon that a little bit confused, but I will tell you that the mission that the University of Phoenix has is continuing, and it's an exciting thing to maybe be able to open ourselves up to an even wider audience. So I would send him probably an emoji that looks like this.
Screenshot of that when I record this. Actually, when I edit this.
You go ahead. I'm afraid of what it's going to look like.
Great. So great talking to you. Great advice about careers. I agree. I've used the career center a couple of times myself. I've got a great lady I work with out of Colorado. She's given me some great pointers. There's a position I'm applying for here. So I think it's just a great addition. So definitely talk to us, figure out how to reach out to that stuff. So reach out on Facebook, link the little LinkedIn or the messenger, we'll get to you. So Steve, I appreciate you taking the time to be with me today, man.
Well, I appreciate you having me, Marty, and I appreciate being a partner in what we're trying to do here for the state of Oregon. I think it's exciting. And thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Not a problem, man. I will see you on the 26th.
Yes, you will. Talk to you soon.
All right, take care. Bye.
Came back to the city with my bank account on F. Giving rappers, I know they happy that I left. Hit the south in winter, I just put down my deposit. 82 degrees, I left that jacket in my closet. I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup.